Welcome to CrimePod Castle's Twisted Love series. We often think of schools, right, as like places of innocence. Where young minds are nurtured and friendships blossom. But as we're about to see, even these seemingly safe havens can become breeding grounds for dark secrets and deadly rivalries. Today we're diving deep into a case that shocked the city of Kolkata, India. The poisoning of Aparna Roy, a beloved schoolteacher. What starts as a seemingly open and shut case of food poisoning quickly unravels into a twisted tale of jealousy, ambition, and betrayal.
It's a stark reminder that beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives, powerful emotions can simmer, leading to devastating consequences.
Okay, so let's paint a picture for our listener. Who was Aparna Roy, and what made her such a beloved figure in her community?
Aparna was a vibrant 32-year-old, known for her infectious enthusiasm and dedication to her students. She was the kind of teacher who went the extra mile, inspiring her students both inside and outside the classroom. And recently, she had married Anirban Sen, a successful software engineer. They were, by all accounts, a picture-perfect couple.
It sounds like she had it all. A loving husband, a fulfilling career, and the admiration of her students. What could possibly lead to such a tragic end?
Well, that's where the story takes a dark turn. On a seemingly ordinary day in August 2014, Aparna was attending a staff meeting at her school when she suddenly fell ill. She complained of severe stomach pains and dizziness before collapsing in front of her colleagues.
I can only imagine the panic and confusion. It sounds like something straight out of a nightmare.
Absolutely. Initially, everyone assumed it was food poisoning. It's not uncommon, especially in a busy school environment. But as Aparna's condition rapidly deteriorated, she was rushed to the hospital, where tragically she passed away just hours later.
It's heartbreaking to think that a seemingly routine day could end in such devastating loss. What did the authorities discover when they began to investigate her death?
That's when the truly shocking truth began to emerge. The post-mortem examination revealed that Aparna hadn't succumbed to food poisoning at all. She had been deliberately poisoned with a rare and deadly substance called aconite.
Aconite. Isn't that a highly toxic plant extract? It's not something you'd typically find in a school, is it?
You're absolutely right. Aconite is incredibly poisonous and not easily accessible. This discovery immediately shifted the investigation from an accidental death to a cold-blooded murder. And as the police dug deeper, they uncovered a tangled web of relationships and simmering resentments within the seemingly idyllic walls of the school.
This is where the story starts to feel like something out of a psychological thriller, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Remember, Aparna was well-loved and respected. So who would have had the motive to commit such a heinous act? As investigators meticulously pieced together the events leading up to Aparna's death, they discovered a chilling truth. The poison had been laced into the cup of tea she had been given just before the staff meeting.
So the killer had to be someone present at that meeting, someone Aparna trusted enough to accept a drink from.
Precisely. And as the investigators narrowed down their list of suspects, one name began to stand out: Ritu Sharma, a fellow teacher at the school, and, as it would soon be revealed, Aparna's secret rival.
Hold on. A rival? What kind of rivalry could possibly exist in a place like a school that would escalate to this level of violence?
That's the question that haunted everyone involved in the case. To understand the motive, we need to delve into the complex dynamics of the school environment, even in institutions dedicated to education and growth. Human emotions like jealousy, ambition, and resentment can take root.
It's almost like a microcosm of society itself, isn't it? All the complexities and, sadly, sometimes the darkness of human nature play out, even in a setting as seemingly innocent as a school.
Exactly. And in this case, as investigators began to peel back the layers of Ritu Sharma's personality and her relationship with Aparna, they started to see a picture emerge of a woman consumed by envy and driven to desperate measures.
So we're left with this chilling realization that someone Aparna considered a colleague, perhaps even a friend, could be capable of such a calculated, cold-blooded act. What was it about Ritu Sharma that led investigators to focus on her as the prime suspect?
On the surface, Ritu seemed like a dedicated and well-respected teacher, but beneath that facade, investigators began to uncover a history of simmering resentment and professional jealousy. You see, Ritu had once been the star teacher at the school, admired for her teaching style and beloved by her students. But with Aparna's arrival, things began to change.
Can you elaborate on that? What was it about Aparna that seemed to threaten Ritu's standing at the school?
Aparna, with her youthful energy and innovative teaching methods, quickly became a favorite among students and staff alike. She had a natural ability to connect with her students, and her classes were always buzzing with excitement. This, it seems, did not sit well with Ritu, who perhaps felt her own star beginning to fade.
It's a sad but all too common scenario, isn't it? This feeling of being replaced, of losing your place in the spotlight. But could that really be enough to drive someone to murder?
It's a complex question, and there's no easy answer. But what we do know is that jealousy, when left unchecked, can fester and grow into something truly toxic. It can warp our perceptions, leading us to see threats where none exist and to act in ways we never thought possible.
So the police had their suspect, Ritu Sharma, a woman seemingly driven by professional envy. But did they have any concrete evidence linking her to the crime?
This is where the investigation takes a dramatic turn. Remember, Aparna had been poisoned with aconite, a rare and highly toxic substance. It's not something you'd just find lying around. The police needed to trace the source of the poison.
That must have been like looking for a needle in a haystack.
It was a painstaking process, but eventually, their persistence paid off. They discovered that Ritu had recently made several online purchases, and among those purchases was aconite. It was the smoking gun they had been searching for.
Wow. So not only did she purchase the poison, but she did it online, leaving a digital trail for investigators to follow.
Exactly. Faced with this undeniable evidence, Ritu was brought in for questioning, and under the weight of the evidence against her, she broke down and confessed to poisoning Aparna.
I can only imagine the shock and disbelief among the school community when news of Rita's confession broke. A trusted teacher, someone they had worked with and respected, revealed to be a cold-blooded killer.
It was a devastating blow, shattering the illusion of safety and security that had existed within the school walls. Aparna's colleagues, her students, and the entire community were left reeling, trying to come to terms with the senselessness of it all.
This is where the human element of this case really hits home, behind the headlines, behind the legal proceedings. There are real people whose lives have been irrevocably changed by this tragedy.
Absolutely. Aparna's husband, Anirban, was left to grieve the sudden loss of his wife. Their dreams for the future shattered. Aparna's students, who had adored her, were left traumatized, struggling to understand how someone they looked up to could be so cruelly taken from them.
It's a stark reminder that these crimes, while often captivating our attention with their twists and turns, leave behind a trail of pain and heartbreak that extends far beyond the courtroom.
You're right. And as the legal process played out, the focus shifted to understanding Ritu's motive and determining the appropriate punishment for her actions. But beyond the legal questions, this case raises broader societal questions about the dark side of human nature and the forces that can drive seemingly ordinary people to commit extraordinary acts of violence.
It forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality that evil can lurk in unexpected places, even in those we trust and respect. And it compels us to examine the role that jealousy, ambition, and resentment play in shaping our actions and choices.
This case, while unique in its details, highlights a universal truth: that we are all susceptible to the corrosive power of negative emotions. And it's a reminder that we all have a responsibility to confront those emotions within ourselves and to create a world where compassion and empathy triumph over envy and bitterness.
So Ritu confessed to the crime. But what happened next? How did the legal system handle such a complex and emotionally charged case? So Ritu confessed to the crime. But what happened next? Did she stand trial for her actions?
Yes, she did. Ritu's trial was a highly publicized affair, captivating the nation with its mix of tragedy, betrayal, and the unsettling reality of violence in an unexpected setting. The prosecution presented a strong case, detailing Ritu's motive, her premeditation in acquiring the aconite, and ultimately, her confession.
I can only imagine the emotional toll the trial took on everyone involved, especially Aparna's family and friends, who were forced to relive the horrifying details of her death.
It was undoubtedly a harrowing experience for them. The defense, as you might expect, tried to paint a different picture of Ritu, portraying her as a victim of circumstance, a woman driven to a desperate act by an overwhelming sense of professional insecurity, and the fear of being eclipsed by Aparna's rising star.
It seems like a classic defense strategy, trying to humanize the perpetrator and evoke some level of sympathy from the jury. Did it work?
Not in this case. The evidence against Ritu was too strong, too damning. The jury, after careful deliberation, found her guilty of murder and sentenced her to life in prison. The judge, in his closing remarks, highlighted the devastating impact of Ritu's actions, not just on Aparna and her loved ones, but on the entire school community and the wider society.
It's a sobering reminder that actions have consequences, and that even in the heat of passion or the grip of despair, we are accountable for the choices we make.
Precisely. The Kolkata schoolteacher poisoning case serves as a chilling example of how easily jealousy and resentment can twist our perceptions and lead us down a dangerous path.
It highlights the fragility of human relationships and the dark undercurrents that can flow beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives.
As we reflect on this tragic case, what are some key takeaways our listeners can glean from this story? What lessons can we learn? Not just about the dangers of unchecked emotions, but about fostering healthier environments in our workplaces and personal lives.
First and foremost, this case underscores the importance of self-awareness. We need to be attuned to our own emotional landscape, recognizing when feelings of envy or resentment begin to take root. It's about acknowledging these emotions, not suppressing them, and finding healthy outlets to process them before they spiral out of control.
It's like tending to a garden, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need to weed out the negative thoughts and cultivate the positive ones to create a flourishing inner landscape.
That's a great analogy. And equally important is creating a culture of open communication and support in our workplaces and communities. This means fostering an environment where individuals feel comfortable expressing their concerns, their fears, and even their moments of vulnerability without judgment.
It's about building trust, fostering empathy, and understanding that we're all in this together. We need to be each other's cheerleaders, not competitors, celebrating each other's successes rather than feeling threatened by them.
Absolutely. And finally, we can't overlook the critical role mental health plays in all of this. Seeking professional help when we're struggling with difficult emotions is a sign of strength, not weakness. It's about equipping ourselves with the tools and resources we need to navigate the complexities of life and relationships in a healthy and constructive way.
It's a reminder that we're all human,
Yeah.
that we all face challenges, and that asking for help is not a sign of failure, but a courageous step towards healing and growth.
The Kolkata schoolteacher poisoning case, while undeniably tragic, offers us valuable lessons about the human condition. It's a story that forces us to confront the darker aspects of our nature while reminding us of the power of empathy, compassion, and the importance of creating environments that nurture our mental and emotional well-being.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Kolkata schoolteacher poisoning case. If you found this episode insightful, please share it with your friends, family, and colleagues. It's a conversation that needs to continue beyond the confines of this deep dive. And don't forget to subscribe to CrimePod Castle for more intriguing cases. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel for additional content. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and as always, stay vigilant.